Welcome back to Energetically You. I'm your host, Megan Swan. I am a mindset and wellness coach. I build and design custom approachable wellness lifestyles for ambitious women. My love is helping women optimize their wellness through plant-based nutrition, movement, mindfulness, and mindset practices so that they feel next level confidence in their own skin. My background, I'm a certified health coach, plant-based chef, detox expert, and yoga teacher with over 10 years of integrated wellness experience. Today, I'm going to reveal some things that, quite honestly, I'm a little bit nervous, but I think it's so important because part of my values as a person and also as a business, as an entrepreneur, is transparency and authenticity. So today I'm going to be talking about why coaches need coaches and giving you a little bit of inside view, inside my business of what I have personally invested in since I started my business online in March of 2020. So in just a moment, we're going to dive right in. I just want to quickly take an opportunity to tell you about my group program that is starting next week. Well, when you're hearing it, it's starting this week. It's called Align and Shine. It is 1/3 high vibe female community that is going to make you feel held, seen, and understood like never before this fall. It is 1/3 one-on-one coaching with myself. We can dive deep on whatever limiting beliefs you want to work on, whatever aspect of your wellness you want to focus on, be it physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. Really, they all combine, they all overlap. So really, we start someplace, we end up touching on all aspects. And 1/3 incredible guest speakers. This is one of the things that makes this program truly unique. It is a very carefully curated selection of, some of them are women that I have taken workshops from in the past. Some of them are close friends that are doing incredible things that I think are extremely relevant to the theme of this Align and Shine, which is embodiment. We're still focusing on the end goal of empowerment and feeling next level confidence in our own skin. Not feeling like wellness is something like a checklist that you have to take care of. It's just a part of who you are. That is how you're going to feel after 12 weeks inside Align and Shine. Like I said, we start on Wednesday. So when you're hearing that, it means we start tomorrow. It's not too late to jump in. There are a couple ways you can participate. So there's the full program, like I just mentioned, or there is the option to just come and join us, have a guest masterclass pass for the fall, if you will. So that would be the 10 masterclasses, and it's much more accessible, that level of participation. And I think could be a really, really valuable way to the little free time we do have to spend it hanging out with us in these masterclasses that are going to be focusing on, for example, the embodiment of awe, unleashing your soul, soul splitting, the embodiment of stillness and tuning. There are Pilates instructors, somatic specialists, trauma-informed specialists, Pilates yoga, did I say dance? Who am I missing? Quantum healing. There is a specialist in pelvic floor health. All these things are going to make you feel more in tune and fully embody power and confidence in yourself like never before. So if you're interested, reach out through Instagram. My handle is Megan Swan Wellness, or you could email me, meganswanwellness@gmail.com, or check it out on the website, meganswanwellness.com/align shine. So from there, let's dive into the juicy full disclosure little chat for today. Hello, how are you? I am so excited and a little bit nervous to share this with you today. So I'll just dive right in. I'm doing a little bit of multitasking. I'm recording this on my computer as well. It'll be out as a podcast. Hi there. Hello, good morning. So I am talking today about 4 things to consider before you invest in a coach. And full disclosure, I'm going to be talking about how much I have invested so far in my business. And I'm a little bit nervous to share all the nitty gritty details. I'm not going to be talking specifically in this forum who I invested with. I think if you've been following me, you have basically understood who I was working with as a coach. I will be posting next week more of a list of who exactly I was working with, and I'm always happy to talk about that privately. So this isn't about a critique in my investments. It's about my values as a human being and as an entrepreneur and in my business for 100% transparency and authenticity. Because I think there's, you can tell in the online world these days when something's off. And so there's 4 things that I really think that we need to consider before I get into, short version, I have invested over $24,000 in my business this year alone. I started on my online business in March 2020, like many of us. And since then, in coaching, I've easily invested another $10K in the experimenting with having virtual assistants and all the platforms and the applications I use and the tech that I require. So that's just coaching, 24K. And full transparency, at this point in my business, 1 year and a bit in, I'm really just everything I've made has gone into reinvesting and building the vision. So here are 4 things to think about before you personally think about investing in yourself in this sense, in any kind of coaching. 1, you want to think in terms of cost comparison, the value projection of the coaching and the return on investment. Now, if we're talking about personal investment, this is what I'm talking about. If you are really unsatisfied in your career or you've been sort of self-medicating some sort of mild anxiety or depression problem for decades, maybe your current solutions are not serving you. And so you have to consider, am I willing to live out, 10, 20, 40, 50 more years, depending on what age you are, in this same sort of holding pattern. And so you have to consider the cost of not changing, the cost of just keep doing things the way you're doing it, because oftentimes we think that something else is going to come along and enlighten us. And from there, we're going to change and become this better human being. And in my experience, and now being really well-versed in the depth of coaching opportunities, hi there, good morning, in the online space, is that you can only get so far on your own. There's all sorts of things you can invest in, and that's what I'm going to talk about. So for example, for many years, almost 8 years, I went to university. Every year it was at least 24,000 in tuition that I paid. And I was raised, as most of us were, in Canada, the US, that university is a good investment. To have student debt, that doesn't seem like a unwise way to invest your money, right? So it's wise to invest in your education in the classic sense of your education. So I invested tens of thousands of dollars I've got 3 university degrees, 2 undergrads and a master's. Do I really use any of those degrees in my current stance, or have I in the last 15 years? Not really. I do believe that it was really fundamental in my education as a human and my ability to do research and to write and to synthesize ideas and analyze data. All those things I learned over many years of university, and I think they're really valuable skills. But this is what I'm talking about. When you're considering like, what was the ROI, the return on investment of my 8 years of university? It's kind of hard to see. Now, and I have friends that went and did much more expensive programs than that. And to this day, they're paying off student debt. So it's just something to consider. Don't blink an eye, or I speak for myself. I didn't at all ever second guess how much the university tuition was. It was like, this is what we're doing. It's tuition. It's worth it. And I've only invested about the same amount of 1 year's tuition, if you will, in my business so far. So that's one thing to think of it. Or why do we think that it's so wise to invest in tuition, like formal university costs, and it's not so wise to invest in a coach that's going to help you become a better human being, which ultimately you'll be happier, you'll be more productive, you'll be better in your career, you'll be all the things that essentially make you more actualized as a human, and your experience of your life is completely different. And so why do we value one so much over the other? It depends, of course, on what spheres you're talking about. Of course, if you're talking to other online coaches in the online sphere, everyone would agree with me, but there are, that is a bubble. And I think it's not like a very mainstream way to think about it. So number two, really think about, do your research. Who is the coach? Is your coach walking the walk? Or walking the talk? Is it like, are they actually behaving, following through, doing what they say that you should be doing? Or are they embodying what you actually want to be, or are they just sort of spouting that, right? So I thought of some other analogies here. It was really important to me that our pediatrician is healthy. So we have a pediatrician who's like a triathlete. So my kids, when they go to the doctor, they see an individual who's super fit, super educated on the best way to eat, to take care of himself, stress management, all the things. And obviously he's like a fairly holistic doctor as well. But do you really want to take health advice from someone who's like slightly overweight, smells of like alcohol, maybe smells of cigarette smoke, is clearly exhausted and not taking care of themselves? It's like, really consider who you're taking your advice from, right? So same, like less diabolical, if you will, is you want your hair, whoever you're getting to style your hair or cut your hair, you expect them, you're going to go to someone who has like their own vavoom, their own style, their own, like they have really excellent grooming skills, right? Or you want a travel agent. We don't usually travel. The only time in my life we used a travel agent was for our honeymoon. And I think really it was worth it. But anyway, just the analogy. You want a travel agent who's actually done a lot of traveling, and ideally is actually been to the hotel, the country, the place that they're like designing your vacation around, right? Like you want someone who's actually been where you're going. Same with coaching. And you want someone in terms of, maybe I've had different psychologists over my life. When my parents first got divorced, when I was a kid, I had a psychologist. I had a psychologist back in Toronto, like 15 years ago. Never did I really feel like I got any clarity about going to a psychologist. But if you're a person that believes in the power of going to a psychologist and having your own consistent therapy in that sense, you want to be going to a psychologist that is concerned and prioritizing their own mental wellness, right? Because again, walking the talk. So that's number two. When you're considering investing in a coach, you want a coach who's walking their talk. They've been where you are, and they are where you want to go, and they get it. And for that reason, they get it. They get you, and they're going to get all of your hiccups, your triggers, all the things that are going to happen to you along the way. Hi there. Good morning. Thanks for everyone for jumping on. You want someone who's actually really authentic in that sense. Like they're going to understand when you're having a hiccup with what's going on. They're going to actually foresee all the mindset hiccups that you might have, or the things that you keep tripping up on. Okay. So number three is things to consider before investing in a coach: the limiting beliefs that we tend to have about, are we enough? Like, are you investing in other things to feel more qualified or to feel enough to feel ready to start the thing. And so I did this myself for arguably years. My IIN health coach certificate, I think it was worth some of that, maybe. It's hard to say. It was worth $5,000. Now I think it's even almost 10. It's like a whole other program. I won't say anything more about that. If you want to talk about that program, I'll do it in private. And I got a certificate in being a plant-based chef. Then I finally got a little bit wiser, if you will, in that my certification-itis, like my obsession with just getting more education, to somehow feel more ready to start the thing. Like I was ready back with the health coaching, or even like halfway through the health coaching certificate, but fear was holding me back, feeling like I wasn't enough. I wasn't ready. I couldn't provide enough value, and I wasn't an expert. But all those things come with taking messy action. You have to start somewhere. You have to get in there. You have to fail. You have to, that's the best way to learn. So then I was going to say, the third time I'm getting a certification around coaching is when I did my certification to be an expert in detox. And why I chose that program is because the program forced you to finish a book within the 4-month program, which is how I got my first book published. I say my first because I'm in the process of writing my second. So I have a book published on Amazon, self-published. Next time around, I'm going to go even bigger. I want it like full on published with a publisher. That's the goal. So the point is, I understood that I needed more accountability than I needed knowledge at that point. I needed the support, the guidance, and the accountability. I did learn a little bit in that program, but I learned a lot of what I learned in that program in the previous 2 certifications that I'd just done, plus all my knowledge, plus 10 years of integrated wellness knowledge as a yoga teacher. Like I pretty much knew all those things, but I needed someone who had already published multiple books of her own in Amazon, had a system, knew where to point my attention and my focus, was positively encouraging me all the time. Like all these things that, I would argue at school, like maybe we're like, let's not negate the importance, the role that we had, the relationship with all those teachers over our lives, right? Someone else believing that you can do it before you see for yourself that you can do it. That's really what coaching comes down to. So it's about having someone believe in you before maybe you do entirely, or, like you're not quite there to see the vision for yourself. And it's really being in their energy, like in their momentum, seeing their vision for themselves. And then you're like, holy, that's like I never even considered going that far. So now, like, instead of your vision being like 3 steps in front of you, you can see like 10, 15, 20 steps out. Maybe they're like 1,000 steps ahead of you, but they're able to communicate and remember like where you were. And so it's much more powerful that you have someone who's been on that journey and they know all the reasons, all the ways that you're going to get potentially stuck along the way. Hi, there's my dog, Princey. Oh, hopefully I don't have to open the door right this second. All right. So the 4th reason or thing to consider before you invest in a coach, really any coach, is investing. This is like the whole analogy of signing up, committing yourself to an expensive gym pass, if you will. Honestly, this one works for some people and doesn't work for others. For me, it works. So it's like lighting the fire under your bum because you just invested a whole money in something. And it's like, okay, now I'm in. Now it's showing up for myself on a whole other level that you wouldn't have done if you didn't put the money. You don't have skin in the game yet. Because if you were, you would have done it already, right? So it's like all of these, going a little bit back to my journeys. My journey was like the certification-itis, and then still not feeling like I felt like I was ready to do certain things, but not other things. And I really wasn't willing to quite step into my power as an expert and understand, like, I am eons ahead of so many people that I can really be value of so many people at this point. I don't need to be 10 steps ahead to start. And that's really what it's all about. So if you're thinking of investing in a coach, these are the 4 things. Number is really think differently about the ROI. Like, how is it? Well, one, how have you been socialized to think about investing in yourself? And maybe that's holding you back. Also, the ROI, like, can you put a price on never changing yourself? Or, I mean, you could probably put a price on like your health and wellness, in my case as a coach, going downhill, of like never making a change. Are you willing to consider being in the exact same place or worse today, 40 years out, or 10 years out, or 2 years out? We often don't think that far out. And for some reason, we think like something's going to change without us taking some sort of different action. And that's just kind of insanity, right? Like, you'll just stay doing the same thing. Number 2, do your research. Find a coach that is authentic, that is transparent, that is walking their talk, and they've been where you've been to some degree, like you relate, you resonate with them, but also they're where you want to be. That they've already passed those hurdles that you're just about to address. Number 3, the limiting beliefs. Are you making decisions about investments trying to feel more ready? Are you in this certification-itis that I was in a couple years ago? Like, for sure, some classic education is great. For sure, having some sort of certificate. But I can tell you, I've gotten to where I am today, and like, nobody ever asks me technically for my certification. They're interested in, it's how you present yourself. It's how you talk. It's very clear, very quickly, if I know what I'm talking about, and that I'm an authority on the subject that I claim to be an authority on, right? People want results. They really don't care if you're certified. Now, I'm talking in the coaching industry, like if you're a massage therapist, for example, and people really want the specific tax deductible receipt or something like that, like maybe you need to go through the process to get on a list so that you're in some system. But then this whole tendency we have to then like get more and more certifications, when the knowledge piece these days, the knowledge piece is pretty available online with your own research. You can get so much knowledge out of a stack of the best books on the current subject that you're wanting to up level on. And then it's like putting those things into practice, trying them out. And then 4, investing in yourself forces you to show up for yourself on a whole other level. So back to the messy action. It's very much like when you're creating, when you're like birthing, when you're starting anything new. I'm like, it's the same analogy of having a baby, literally. Like, there's never a perfect time to have a baby. There are better times maybe, but there's also all sorts of things that you can control. So instead of having all of these, I won't say excuses, but maybe counterproductive narratives that we tend to hold on to, instead of having them play over and over and over, just start somewhere. Like, just start taking messy action and see how it feels, in the sense that you need to get some experience. And a great way to help you, that little push, to like get you into action, because you invest, you need to make that money back, right? At the very least, and then some, right? So like I said, I'm in the first year of my business, and my plan was to do exactly what I've done, which is invest as I go. And then next year, just wait for it. It's going to be so good. I'll share in a post next week the current investment, or the latest investment that doesn't include that number I just gave you, that I just made for the next 6 months. I'm working with a entirely different kind of coach. This coach she refers to herself as a chief success officer. So it's called a partnership. It's not the traditional coaching relationship, if you will, where we have a meeting and then I'm on she gives me all the things and it's on my own accord and I go away and I do it. No, she's like in my business. She's like a lot more lighting a fire on a daily basis under my bum, and kind support and positive feedback, encouragement, helping, like the clarity, the focusing, the curating knowledge, because in life and in business, like there's just so much information. There are so many ways to do the thing that at the end of the day, you want a coach that brings you back to yourself and makes you feel like you know what's the best way for you. Okay. Here are some ways. Now figure out what's the best way for you, and own it, that you don't need to be like anyone else. You find the path that works for you, because how you build your business, how you structure your health and wellness lifestyle, how you live your life is so personal, and it needs to feel like it's a part of who you are, that it's so integrated that it's not this like stressful list of things that you're constantly checking up on. It's like an integrated system that makes sense. And so there it is. The 4 things to consider when you are about to invest in a coach. And I hope that was helpful. I will be back next week with another live. I want to quickly mention, as I'm sure you know, that Align and Shine is starting next week, and it is going to be really incredible. This version is all about embodiment of empowerment. So the program is 1/3 high vibe community of women that you're going to go through the process with. It's a 12-week program. 1/3 is one-on-one coaching with me. So if you feel aligned and you resonate with what I'm saying, you resonate with how I run my life and how I show up in the world and all the things, I might be an ideal coach for you. If not, then maybe not. And the other part of the program are the incredible guest speakers that I have lined up. It is a curated group of incredibly talented women. Some of them are women that I took courses from even 10 years ago. And it's like a huge honor for me that I'm at a place in my life and in my business that they're like, heck yeah, I'll do a workshop for you. So there's embodiment of awe. There is soul splitting. There's functional movement. There's tuning and stillness embodiment. There is somatic flow. There is yoga nidra, Pilates. There are quantum healing. What else am I missing? It's just like this really incredible list of experts. And I think it's so incredible to really collaborate with other women and bring like a much more well-rounded program to you. So that is my inspiration behind Align and Shine. You can check out, the link is in my bio, or send me a direct message. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. We can jump on a quick coffee chat, whatever sounds good to you. I'm game. I hope you have a beautiful day, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world, and we'll be seeing each other. Bye for now.